Good evening, you're watching AWANI Tonight with me, Farhana Sheikh. A fire incident at the KLCC LRT station in Kuala Lumpur was successfully contained earlier today, with no injuries reported. The Kuala Lumpur Fire and Rescue Department's Operations Centre received an emergency call at 4:15 p.m. and promptly dispatched a team from the Jalan Tun Razak Fire and Rescue Station. The KLCC LRT station has been temporarily closed due to the electrical fire.
Upon arrival, the KLCC emergency response team had already extinguished the fire using CO2 fire extinguishers. According to operations, Commander PBK2 Muhammad Azimin Muhammad Zahidi, the fire involved a pump switch box. The cause of the fire is still under investigation, and the Fire Investigation Unit has been notified to carry out a detailed assessment. Authorities have confirmed that no casualties or injuries occurred as a result of the incident.
The decomposed body found in Banting has been confirmed as missing teenager Yap Sin Yuan, identified through a DNA match with her mother. Selangor Police Chief Commissioner Datuk Hussein Omar Khan says that post-mortem examinations were conducted to confirm the identity. The case, initially reported as a missing person, has now been reclassified as murder, and investigations are ongoing. 3 suspects, aged 16, 20 and 51, including the victim's boyfriend, remain in custody as investigations continue to determine the motive behind the crime. She was last seen attending a lion dance training session at Batu 11 basketball court in Cheras. Her body was discovered on December 28th in RTB Sungai Changgang, Kuala Langat, in a state of decomposition, making physical identification impossible. Malaysia's Road Transport Department JPJ has announced an initiative to help motorists settle their outstanding traffic summonses. Starting from tomorrow until June 30th, JPJ is offering a RM150 flat rate on 3 traffic offences.
The usual RM300 fine will be reduced for 3 types of summonses: AWAS summons for speeding or running red lights, and offences under notices 114 and 115, which pertain to questioning offenders and providing statements as evidence respectively. Currently, there are 2 million unpaid AWAS summonses dating back to 2018. Payments can be made at JPJ counters, kiosks, mobile counters, or the MyJPJ app, but not through the MyEG platform. Additionally, no demerit points will be accumulated during this period as the demerit point system is currently being reviewed by the department.
The AIDS Healthcare Foundation is calling on ASEAN to lead the fight against AIDS in the Asia-Pacific region. AHF pledges to collaborate with ASEAN countries and civil society organizations to achieve this goal.
AHF Asia Bureau Chief Dr. Chim Saraf expressed pride in this partnership. At a recent UN-AIDS meeting, Cambodia's Senior Minister Yang Muli reaffirmed ASEAN's commitment to these efforts. He called for enhanced cooperation and robust mechanisms to develop a roadmap to end AIDS. AHF, serving over 400,000 clients across 10 ASEAN countries, is ready to support these goals. They propose using platforms like the ASEAN Go NGO Forum to promote cooperation, address inequalities, and ensure access to HIV prevention and treatment.
We'll go for a quick break. Don't go anywhere.
Rambut gugur lagi? Macam mana Gunakan Pantene Baharu dengan provitamin mikro yang meresap dan menguatkan rambut dari dalam. Rambut 10 kali lebih kuat terhadap rambut gugur. Pantene Baharu.
Di mana jua dengan keluarga lagi bahagia. Momen dikongsi jadi lebih bermakna. Walau jauh di mata, tetap dekat di hati. Keluarga harmoni bila semuanya dikongsi. Bila keluarga di sisi, detik jadi istimewa. Kongsikan segalanya dengan family. Kongsi 1000 GB data 5G dan perantauan global percuma. 4 talian untuk family.
Kerap menggaruk kulit kepala disebabkan keluh mumur, masalahnya lebih mendalam. Gunalah Head and Shoulders menembusi 5 lapisan untuk membasmi keluh mumur dan kegatalan. Bebas keluh mumur sehingga 100%. Head and Shoulders diuji secara dermatologi.
Welcome back. A Tesla Cybertruck exploded in flames outside the Trump International Hotel, Las Vegas on Wednesday, killing 1 person and injuring 7 others. According to officials, the FBI is investigating whether the blast was an act of terrorism. Videos taken by witnesses inside and outside the hotel showed the vehicle exploding and flames pouring out of it as it sat just outside the hotel. The driver who died in the explosion has not been publicly identified. The incident occurred just hours after a man drove a truck into crowds of New Year's Day's revelers in New Orleans, killing 15. The Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas is part of the Trump Organization, the company of President-elect Donald Trump, who will return to the White House on January 20th. In New Orleans, the FBI identifies an Army veteran and U.S. citizen from Texas, 42-year-old Shamsuddin Jabbar, as the assailant in the New Orleans truck attack. 15 people were killed and dozens others injured. The authorities have warned the death toll could rise as some of those injured were in critical condition. A white Ford pickup truck drove into pedestrians at Bourbon Street, New Orleans, before hit at 3:15 local time on New Year's Day. The suspect, Jabbar, also fired at law enforcement during the incident, injuring 2 officers before he was fatally shot by police. Weapons and a potential explosive device were found in the vehicle, as well as 2 other potential explosive devices nearby the area. The FBI is investigating the attack as an act of terrorism after discovering an ISIS flag in the suspect's vehicle, believing he did not act it alone. They are also looking into possible connections between the attack in New Orleans and a Tesla Cybertruck explosion outside a Trump hotel in Las Vegas. Over in Montenegro, at least 10 people, including 2 children, have died after a gunman opens fire in a restaurant on Wednesday. Police identifies the suspect as 45-year-old Alexander Martinovic, who later took his own life near his home in Centennier. Police said the attack began at 5:30 local time when Martinovic opened fire in the restaurant following a verbal argument between guests. Police said he killed members of his own family, 2 of the restaurant owner's children aged 10 and 13, and also the owner. He later fled but then fatally injured himself after being surrounded by police. The government has declared 3 days of national mourning from Thursday. Mass shootings are comparatively rare in the small Balkan nation. In 2022, a man killed several people, including children, in Centennier following a family dispute. South Korean police raid Jeju Air and 1 international airport offices as part of the probe into the plane crash that killed 179 people. South Korean and U.S. investigators have been combing the crash site to establish a cause, with both black boxes found and decoding work ongoing.
The conversion of data from the cockpit voice recorder to audio files, which could provide critical information on the final minutes of the flight, was completed on Thursday. While the damaged flight data recorder will be sent to the US for further analysis. South Korea said it will inspect all Boeing 737-800 operated by its carriers, focusing on potential landing gear issues that caused Sunday's crash. Jeju Air Flight 2216, carrying 181 people from Thailand, issued a mayday call on before belly landing, hitting a barrier and bursting into flames, killing everyone on board except 2 flight attendants. Authorities have identified the 179 victims and funeral procedures have begun.
In other news, South Korea's impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol has vowed to fight until the end as he faces possible arrest over his short-lived martial law decree last month. This as crowd of demonstrators hold protests near the presidential residence for or against the embattled president.
Police scuffled with Yoon supporters who laid down in the road on Thursday, trying to block access to his residence. Pro-Yoon protesters are calling his arrest illegal, while an anti-Yoon demonstrator called on Yoon to quickly step down to bring an end to the current political turmoil. A court on Tuesday approved a warrant for Yoon's arrest, which could potentially make him the first sitting president to face arrest. Yoon was suspended from presidential powers after being impeached by Parliament over his decision to briefly impose martial law on December 3rd and is facing criminal investigation into possible insurrection charges.
Climate change has brought record-breaking heat in 2024 and with it extreme weather from typhoons to month-long droughts. How will this shape climate action in 2025? Here are some key points and climate highlights to consider. 2024 is said to be the warmest on record, with global temperatures surpassing the critical 1.5 degrees Celsius threshold above pre-industrial levels. The consequences are glaring, with research showing an average of 41 additional days of dangerous heat worldwide. Meanwhile, greenhouse gases grew to new record highs, locking in more heat for the future. The World Meteorological Organization reports the total carbon dioxide emissions, including both fossil fuel and land use emissions, reaching 41.6 billion tons, up from 40.6 billion in 2023. China remained the world's top GHG emitter, followed by the US. Extreme weather wreaked havoc across continents. Drought conditions intensified across the globe, impacting the Amazon basin, reducing river flows and worsening deforestation. Major wildfires devastate regions worldwide, with the North and South America most affected. While some suffer from a lack of rain, others got too much of it. In Southeast Asia, Typhoon Yagi combined with monsoon rains caused catastrophic floods and landslides, claiming over 800 lives. But the Philippines bore the brunt of typhoon activity in the Pacific in 2024, with an unprecedented 6 typhoons in just 30 days between October and November. While over in the US, back-to-back hurricanes Helen and Milton left 260 dead and $115 billion in damages. The UN Climate Change Conference COP29 held in Baku, Azerbaijan sought solutions, securing a $300 billion annual fund to help vulnerable nations combat climate change impacts. However, critics slammed the figure as woefully inadequate. Many G20 countries are also far off their Paris Agreement targets, with countries such as Argentina, South Korea, Saudi Arabia, Russia, Turkey, Canada, Mexico, and Indonesia rated critically insufficient, potentially steering the planet toward a catastrophic 4 degrees Celsius temperature rise. Adding to the uncertainty is Donald Trump's expected return to the US presidency in 2025, raising concerns of environmental rollbacks threatening global progress. The urgency for collective action has never been greater. Can world leaders bridge the gap between promises and action, or will the planet face even graver consequences? That wraps up AWANI tonight. Check out our web portal, keeping you informed on the critical events shaping our world, all in one place at international.astroawani.com. That's all for now. I'm Farhana Sheikh. Thank you for watching and good night.